For these pros, they have a little bit of fun. One team venturing forward into the playoffs, the other here to close out this year and bring it all to a close. Let's then see if anything happens from the level 1 go, as Mammoth are grouped up as 5.
Do not have that, go button that Fury does have in the, the Brain Fuel coming out of the Pike, but they do have, a very strong level 1 with Tristana and Ezreal, and, that Pathmaker that does come out of the Cassante as a level up, even though you do want to go for that Q usually just to have a much better level 1 in your own individual lane. So it's nice to see that they are using their strength to be able to create some pressure on the map, get some vision to make sure that Nox, who wants to full clear consistently, might be disrupted in his path.
Certainly is the case, right? How many times have we seen Nox get allowed to do as he please and just, 1v9. Basically, farm up a storm, rock up to the fights, take you all down in the process too, and find himself in a situation where, the only AP is in the jungle for both sides at just that. So speed is of the essence. A chance to see what Mammoth have in store for us, because if it's a case of them locking in their champions, their preferences, I think Gunkrab's going to be happy with the Ezreal and really voice more than anybody, right? Actually, both supports, to be fair, have been released from support prison because the Nautilus and Leona were banned.
Yeah, and we do see Voice go for that comment on the Scunner, so this is probably going to be that, W spam that I was talking about in lane. It is quite annoying to deal with, especially if he did go for the Scorch, which is most likely the most common option on the champion, and it's a lot of harass that can go down onto this duo of Fury in the bot lane, and if they do not find a window to be aggressive, we might just see that health advantage being chipped away very slowly when the level 2 comes out for this member.
Well, speaking of level 2, I'm not even waiting to find it in the mid lane right now, as both Chirp and Pred get incredibly aggressive, and we've seen this matchup a lot over the weeks gone by, and usually are waiting for the first base, that level 5, level 6 margin before the Yone does truly ramp up their pressure. But hang on a minute, what is going on here?
There's a
funny business.
To Leo over the wall of his son Skivvy. And he's out of there.
He's gone. He's absolutely outplayed Fury there and said, Findo, I'm going to make you do ring around the rosy, go the wrong direction, and Nox not going to be a happy jungler.
I understand his Nox's thought process. A very common thing to do when you are invaded on the map split is, as the the red side jungler, you start your red buff and then you collapse onto the enemy when you're on your Gromp or your Wolves, and because you do have smite advantage generally, you can find them out, or you can catch them off guard as they are tanking a camp and win that 1v1. But Forever recognizes that, doesn't even go for a camp and just goes and hides in Fog of War. Or, maybe he caught Nox out as he walked in, chunked him out, and then just outplayed both these members. So really well played by Forever to find that first blood.
It's a phenomenal start, and certainly is going to be in the back of their heads now that, this guy's not going to take any prisoners here. He's going in, he's going out, and he's going to make sure that we aren't going to have the, perfect ending to the split that we would have been looking for. Finder, though, he's going to poke his head into the mid lane, see what he can find, enough to bolster out the rocket jump, as Chirp was ready and waiting to pounce upon that one. But then a rare reprieve to check in with top lane. You can see that Prey's already crashing that wave, already looking for a roam, and with the assistance of Finder, it's a case of let's get blue buff to the Zyra.
Yeah, and this is the the nice thing about the Pike support. He's going to run around the map and impact this top side and make sure that his jungler, who was invaded on the bot side, does pick up the camps and make sure that he is back in the game, because this Zyra is a major win condition for this comp and need to make sure that their sole AP threat is always strong.
It's always been that talking point, hasn't it, right? When you have that isolated damage profile, making sure that it is relevant, because it feels so bad if they can just itemize completely against you and you just get ignored when those fights do play out. Kalista obviously very short range, incredible damage output, but he's going to handle himself for the meantime in this 1v2. You're going to be noticing that Voice in any given moment is going to try and be a menace and proc that arcane comment, but now Findo's back to back him up to make it a 2v2. In mid lane, you do wonder if Predator would want to go for this. He does in the end with the rocket jump, but then instantly sees Nox come back. He's regretting that decision, and he will fall down for Fury's first kill.
Another flash being held, Skimmy. So we're seeing this quite common where players, aren't respecting with their summoner spell and using that one to be able to survive these engages out of these members collapsing onto them. So Predator with the flash there does fall down. The kill does go to Chirp, which means he's going to be able to pick up those Berserkeries on that first recall, even though Predator has already committed that teleport back to lane. So this lane is very, very comfortable for Chirp from now on.
Certainly is, and that does go from bad to worse, then certainly accelerating his ability to continue to be that lane bully in the 1v1 isolated. I suppose we're looking elsewhere on the map then to try and figure out, okay, where does Forever want to play towards? What lane does he want to try and empower? Because both our top laners are rookies, but it would seem that Prey's looked a little bit more comfortable in comparison to Reneko.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Renekton have these pop-up performances on anything besides the Renekton so far, so he is playing the Cassante. This is a fine matchup into the Camille. We have seen, you know, even as the Camille scales up and you consider the champion someone who can really blow these tanks up when they get 1-2 items, Cassante can match the all-in threat from the Camille, so it is a tank who can play the side lane, he can match the threat of these fighters, so if he does well in the laning phase, they do have someone to match the side lane threat that Fury has drafted.
Very early on into that draft, I was wondering, is this going to be a Stunner to match up into the Camille like we saw from BioPanther? Not to be the case, though. Nox wants to poke his head in to see, can I actually take this dragon, or can I not? Boys dashing across that wall, looking to try and entertain it. The full combo dropped there by Chirp. 2 members locked in place by the CC. As the soul gets snapped right back, the stun comes on through, but the damage has already been done. And Finder's now also going to find himself a kill. He overcommits himself, and Predator takes him down to find a double. But it's an absolute wipe in Fury's favor.
Yeah, 2 for 3 trade in favor of Fury, and 2 kills going over to Chirp. Already picked himself up the champion bounty. Very scary champion to be accelerated when you only have, you know, one major tank. You don't have a lot of instant CC who can outplay this champion. With that snapback, he is very comfortable this game to, you know, engage onto these champs and find these fate seals which can take over team fights. And
we were thinking, Tally, that just that one individual kill in itself was going to be enough. He's now got a double. He's now 3 kills with a bounty. It's getting a little bit brutal here, and I mean, quite honestly, Nox is really teasing him into this bad situation.
Yeah, Nox walked up, but there was no cooldowns for the Mammoth members to be able to get take him out there. There was no pebbles to stun him. There was no explosive shot from Prey to find that kill, so has to commit again to be able to get that kill, and Chirp comes over with a level 6 advantage and he's the difference in this fight.
He certainly is, and now you have to wonder, alright, how do we deal with this Yone? We've got to deal with the Camille split pushing, but the Yone is going to be that much further ahead of us. And sure, Tristana wants to always be in the 1v1, but it's just going to keep going against them unless something drastically changes, because certainly Fury, only 7 minutes in, are already working towards a bit of a snowball motion.
Yeah, a lot of snowballing happening in this game from both sides, actually. You know, even though these trades are going in favor of Fury, the members of Mammoth are getting gold. You know, we are seeing gold going into forever. Very comfortable with the scaling of this game. Preyth is picking up some kills as well, so while his lane opponent is really strong, he does, you know, have the makings of that, you know, Kraken Slayer to be able to do the DPS he needs to when Chirp goes in.
So there's a massive breakpoint for that champion, no doubt about it. And we always talk about the ability to rush down these objectives, and whilst Desire certainly can solo it at the 20-minute mark, they have a Callista for the insurance to make those 50-50 flips even more secure. But then the Mammoth Sky do have the double AD carry set up, so there is a world in which they can certainly sneak that one in if they do fall further and further behind. You can see there Prey being a bit of a menace, trying to do some Spidey moments up against the wall with Forever just waiting. See if the dive were to happen. He's just going to take a camp for the meantime, and as we can see from the minimap, Nox is nowhere near, so there would not be any protection.
Yeah, this is you know, a classic bait you see. You know, you sit on low mana, you look like you're very susceptible to getting, you know, dove or trade on. Have the 2 cookies in your inventory where you can, you know, instantly consume one or both of them to get mana back instantly. You know, Prey does look like he's susceptible, but he has a lot of mana sitting in his inventory to outplay this potential dive that would have gone onto him.
He certainly does, also with a Coal to boot, 50 stacks remaining, so halfway towards that being completed, and making sure that there is a little bit of daylight between these two. Now Chirp is the focus. Oh, what a fantastic denial of that Fade Unsealed, as Chirp is forced to not only burn the ult, but the flash too to get to safety and deny Mammoth from finding the kill they were after. Nox rocks up to the mid lane, drops the Stranglethorns, and finds Retribution.
How unfortunate. It looked like such a nice gank coming out of the Mammoth side, but, you know, even though the Fate Sealed was blocked, has access to that Q3, which allows him to dash out of there, and with the follow-up of Finder and Nox being around mid lane, Predator doesn't have flash that time, so he does no way to outplay that.
Finder still roaming, still not level 6 though, so the ultimate for the gap close or for the execute yet to be found, but still being a menace. And you'd say, well, in isolation, surely this means that Hooper gets the solo farm, but he's actually only even given the amount of pressure that Mammoth can do. As a 2v1, it is to be expected they just run straight past the tower and take him down as a casualty, really.
Did not have the flash up. It was a couple seconds that one came off cooldown. Didn't have the barrier, but the moment that, you know, Burrow connects onto the wall, recognizes that he is not outplaying that one, so he saves his summoners. Is playing the Callista, but he's not being enabled this game scheme. We're very used to seeing this champion, you know, constant tower dives going onto the bot side, constant ganks, but he's playing this weak side Callista and allowing Fino to roam and impact the map because they just value Nox being strong over everything.
Yeah, it feels like a very curious case of if you're going to play it this way, why not play the Ezreal or anything of the same, you know, sense, right? Where you can just sit back and have the mobility, whereas, you know, the Callista, you'd imagine, incredibly strong 2v2 and an ultimate that has little to no value because your support's just simply not there.
Yeah, it's definitely a champ who needs a pairing to use its complete strength or the complete kit. You know, you're missing a lot of damage from that W proc, you know, the Fate's Call with ult. And this is a champ that in isolation or a lane that will do really, really well now because Chirp has, you know, the makings of the, you know, the Berserkeries plus the attack speed item in the recurve burst. So he has max cooldown on that Q, 5 points in it. But it doesn't matter, Skinny, when you face check the Bugger Wall.
It does not matter. That's certainly a rule on League of Legends. Never face check those brushes, and he's learned that one the hard way. He's dropped that bounty, dropped that perfect KDA, and down for 20 seconds whilst he has to watch his team try and pop off and salvage something. The Strangleform goes out. That gets flashed away from there by Gunkrab, but he dies all the same. The True Shot Barrage being his final Hail Mary. And then Hooper also going to get pounced upon here by Forever. The Impale at the very last second. That's a double now for Forever. And they've absolutely crushed them here.
Yeah, Fury felt a bit, you know, maybe forced to go for that dive because of the aggression that went onto mid lane, but they were collapsing instantly. They recognized there's a wave coming into bot side. Gunkrab needs protection. He does such a good job with the flash, with the Arcane Shift to buy so much time. You know, trades double flashes to make sure that he goes down, and, you know, Forever's in the right position. Finder does not find the executors. We do go into the replay here. You know, Gunkrab doing such a good job, lands that double True Shot Barrage, does so much damage. Such an easy cleanup for these members. You come here, Forever just, you know, positioning, you're running away from the turret into the, you know, the Gatling gun of the Talia, throwing out all these pebbles, and just a nice ult from Voice to lock up this kill. And Finder's ult does not find execution in time as the pebbles come out and finish him.
And look, Tally, to be quite frank, I think Ferris having a phenomenal start here. You know, we're used to seeing Goodo on this roster. He's come in and really laid down the law to Nox and says, you're not going to have any fun whatsoever on the premier jungler, no less. What is the flash? And it really does become as easy as that. And all this fantastic work here for the Yone. Predator's just weathered the storm with the assistance of his team. He's back.
What a comeback for Predator in the mid lane. You know, he recognizes, I have the Kraken now. You know, you're not the boss of this lane anymore. We aren't seeing the complete item from Chirp yet, so he can't muscle out this play and not recognizing he's not stronger anymore because Kraken is such a big power spike for a champ who has such a, you know, strong attack speed steroid in the early game. So really nice by Predator to dodge out on that knockup, find the solo kill, and get himself back in the game.
Back in the game, and then back in the driving seat as well, because they've got 2 dragons, 3 grubs, and a 2k gold lead. So certainly an early game, and working its way towards a mid game, in which you think, okay, where has this mammoth been all split long?
And we do see the all-out going on to top side, so we have to see what is going to happen up there. If it's going to be a bit of a chunk as Prey goes in the turret. But, you know, look at this. Predator's pretty much space tanking Chirp's damage and winning those trades comfortably. You know, I guess the sustain is, you know, the match in sustain with the fleet and the absorb life. But, you know, with the Vamp Scepter being there on Chirp's side, if these fights do extend, they will favor him in the sustain department.
Well, they certainly will. Just a case of can the likes of the Kalista and the Yone hit that sooner rather than later, because they're falling further and further behind on these item breakpoints. Predator with the Kraken. Trinity Force now done for Gunkrab. And a Warmogs also for Voice on this Skarner support, which so far, I'd say that the experiment's been very successful.
Yeah, this Skarner looks very good, but you know what also looks very good? This very fed Talia.
Yeah, it's just not fair at this stage. Everything chucked towards him, and finally the first kill is found by Nox. Not to be outdone by Predator, who says, you can't get that and not get away with it. Nice sidestep, but does he survive? It looks like he might. Tell you, it's just phenomenal.
What movement from this is, you know, I'm getting PGG vibes from Predator right now. He looks so comfortable playing one of these strong AD carries in the mid lane, but I was going to say, it looks so bad for Mammoth there as soon as Forever went down, and even though Nox was traded in tandem, there was all these plants as we do go into the replay. This initial play looks really good, but they see the Q that comes out of Fourier gets blocked by the plant summon. You know, they do find the trade onto Nox coming out of Prince, but there's so many plants shooting him right now. So even though this is a 1v1, there's so many plants falling up there, but just really nice collapse from Reneko to make sure his mid laner finds that double kill.
It's been impressive, honestly. This feels like a completely different squad that we've seen from all year long. I'm not sure what it took. Was it a case of they just need a little bit of extra time together to figure things out, figure out the meta, figure out their playstyle, or is it a case of the pressure's being alleviated and now they get to play their best brand of League of Legends?
Maybe that is the case because, you know, Gunkrab was mentioning there was some pressure amounted to them on this roster, and they just look so, you know, free to just do a good job as a team. And then when you see Predator living again with the missile now, how about Chirp?
Chirp, that was disgusting, and that has worked wonders on this occasion to really upset the balance of the momentum that Mammoth are working their way towards. True Shot Barrage from downtown, not to fight anything, but that Hextech ultimatum certainly will. Mini Cho'Gath Fault on a basic ability, as you so famously coined. And it gets Prey back into fighting spirits.
This is the classic, I hold my points game is this fight is just always extended.
Oh my god, Prey, so lucky not to die in that situation. The Strangleforward is fantastic, locks him just on the edge there with a double knock-up. Going all out is Reneko, the Ignite not to be found. Two members taunting his Cassante. The bait with the passive, the shield, it's there. And Forever says, well, why are we losing? Why are we not getting any of these stragglers? We have to find something a little bit extra. The flash forward, the stun! Oh, there is no death from below.
The Pike dopamine skimmy, you get the reset, you want to go fishing for more, but you know, the one getting found that time was Finder on the Pike. But overall, you know, I gotta give it to Reneko. He's playing really well in his skirmishes on this Cassandra. Just unfortunate, you know, when you press that W, you feel a bit invulnerable, but you know, Pike ult does true damage and he will find you if you are on that low amount of health.
So he will, and now you really have to wonder who actually wins, because this game is going back and forth. No clear indicator as to early game amounting to much more than just a chance for the opposition to fight on back. Yeah, an invitation for Voice to poke his head into mid lane and make Chirp's life a little bit of a living misery, but yeah, it's a hard one to call now. It almost feels like it's going to go down to an objective battle.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the same story from mid lane. Chirp is just a player who will never, ever, ever stop playing aggressive. He's going to continually go forward, and as long as he has members to back him up here, he will feel very comfortable doing that. But, you know, if we are going to see him keep going forward, could potentially be punished if there is, you know, the Impale coming out of Voice to, you know, lock him down before he is able to snap back.
Nice, good little buffer there, denying what could have been another little struggle kill. That would have gone the way of Fury. But Mammoth feeling inspired. I mean, look, to have those dragons stacked up nice and early, and to have a third one to look at now, if they can get there in time, they certainly put themselves in a very strong win condition.
And this is the win condition right now. It's the Taliyah. This Taliyah is so good into the enemy comp. You know, minus the Zyra who does outrange you. There's so many dashes, so many low-range champs on the enemy team. Pair that with the Pebbles, maybe even a TP flank out of Predator, and this could be Hooper going down.
Imagine that. You've got a flanking AD carry versus another AD carry. And who wins? Well, the Kraken Slayer trumps them all. Chirp doesn't have the ultimate right now, so the Soul Unbound looks good, and he's going to snap back and deny that seismic shove, but they've bullied themselves into the river, take back what is theirs, and set it sore point for us.
What a different looking Mammoth. You know, they look so comfortable taking these micro scenarios where they keep outplaying the enemy, and Forever so fed on this Taliyah. I was mentioning this is one of their win conditions. They're still playing for the invade. Nox does not have flash.
Back-to-back plays, though, is that they're undoing. We see it all too much happen. We get a little bit greedy. Predator jumps across the Strangleforms, ignores all that botany. Out goes the Seal of Fate, and locked them down with a two-man impale as well. If it wasn't for that cheeky Soul snapping back, Chirp may have died in a heartbeat as well. Now he's going to go for a massive rush straight down to bot lane, turns around, concedes it in the end. And even Prey not finding much success now in the 1v1 up against Reneko.
They're just winning everywhere, Skimmy. You know, they felt so confident to pick this Camille initially early on in the draft. Prey is doing a good job to, you know, scale up. He hasn't fallen down. He has been available in his team fights to pick up these kills. But Reneko doing his job as the Cassandre, marking the Camille, make sure he cannot win these side lanes. And as we go into this replay, I think Nox is just playing a bit too aggressive here. Doesn't have access to the flash. His mid laner is not here to back him up yet, and he just walks up and falls over. And the moment this Zyra is not here to threaten the Taliyah in these fights, the only champ who really has the, you know, range to be able to threaten this Taliyah, it's free reign for Forever. And look at his inventory. He's already finished 2 items.
Yeah, it's broken. So strong. Incredibly hard to lock on down. It's been very impressive on his ability to be, you know, isolating out key members at the right time to ruin their potential lead they did have. And you can see right there, top 3 is all to do with Mammoth. He's got 10,000 gold. And his second closest being Predator, who's under fire right now. Taking the 1v1, waiting for the snapback. And that snapback damage was the difference.
Both these players have enormous ego, Skimmy. None of them want to lose on the 1v1, but unfortunately, if you do not dodge all these abilities, I'll hold my point as we see the engage coming out.
Yeah, there is the Hexagon Ultimatum, lock him inside that Octagon, but Fino jumps in aggressively, gets baited by that one, gets sucked away by the Callista, and gets to live to fight another day. True Shot Barrage not going to connect, but does in the end! How on earth is that one being sniped apart there by Gunkrab? Beautifully found in the mid lane. And this is descending very quickly into a battle of who can get the better KDA.
And on the side, we see Forever pick up Chirp, you know, very low member, pushing up, face checks the Taliyah on the Fog. You're going to get one shot, especially based on the items he has in his inventory. Already has the makings of the Crypt Bloom, so he's going to be doing so much damage, even if Magic Resist does come out of the enemy team, which he probably shouldn't because he is solo AP. So if they do start building Magic Resist, the major members, you know, in the Tristana and the Ezreal are going to be doing so much to your, you know, frontline.
Yeah, and that concern about how does Ezreal itemize against these, you know, very tanky champions or just a mitigation that can come out from the armor stacking, no longer an issue. You will be working your way towards that true damage potential because you've just been lucky enough to find yourself with a jungler already at double digits, 10 kills in 20 minutes for 20 kills overall. And I think these next 2 minutes are the most crucial, right? Get yourself that third item. There is the Crypt Bloom too. And you get yourself that Ocean Soul to really make sure that Fury had no way to answer back.
Yeah, and I have kept talking about how, strong Mammoth look right now. It's very obvious how they're going to win this game. They should feel much more comfortable in these team fights. And, these side lanes, while they are favored for Fury, they can handle them. And I think that's a really important thing to note. But looking at Fury's comp, they have so much pick potential in that bot lane. And I think that is their major tool to get back into the game. I don't think Prey can play for the side lane anymore just because, this Tristana is so strong. But with this Baron being started, this is for sure a win condition that Fury can contest.
Well, this is where it gets exciting, right? Because both teams are phenomenally well-equipped to deal with this Baron. And it's a case of, well, where is Prey in the scope of making sure that second item comes online? You've got the Trinity Force, you want that Ravenous Hydra, you need that threat to try and draw Mammoth away from this Baron pit. But in the 4-1 split, they are continuing to be aggressive. Of course, it is Chirp that leads that line. But look at the amount of space that Prey's been afforded. He's just taking towers like you wouldn't believe.
And that is so nice for him, picking up that 700 gold on the inner tower. He's going to be able to afford his second item most likely on that reset. But, how funny is that? Findo finds Prey with recalling. He's like, oh, you're in the wrong end, scrub. Shanks him and then runs away, stopping the recall. So nice little reset stop coming out of the support, which, denies Prey being able to make that bot tower, defend that one, and that's the reason why we see Prey picking up 2 items right now, maybe being a bit accelerated for this game state.
But I'm wondering what the lane matchups look like now, because Prey has picked up the second item. He has now rushed straight towards the Baron, but they are the only 2 people that have the TP available, himself and Predator, who are playing towards that bot lane so far. But the Baron was just a bit of a bait. It's a dance. It's an attractive option that they were truly, I don't believe, ever committed to, because this Ocean Dragon is up now in 10 seconds. And it doesn't look like Fury are even entertaining the idea of contesting the Soul Point.
I think this might be a mistake by Fury to trade the Baron for the Ocean Soul. I think the Ocean Soul is just way too valuable. Baron gives you this 3 minutes where you are strong, where you can push these waves. But, Ocean Soul stays with you the entire game. It does afford the Elder Dragon to spawn, so maybe trading it is what they want and allow the Elder Dragon to spawn for a win condition later on. But there's still 4 members from Mammoth here, Skinny.
They're all in. Forever's going to jump from one side. No way. I do not believe it. They've got the Dragon. They've got the Baron. They've stolen it all. Forever may just be the GOAT on his debut. Rock it up and Shane. This is how you get it done. He finds himself a double. He's 12 kills tally. And this is a Mammoth. If we'd seen this from week 1, they would for sure be in playoffs.
If there was ever a him, Forever is him. He has done the impossible, sails in on the wall, and he finds the Baron steal, finds the members as well with that, you throw down the pebbles as you come off the wall, so much disruption, pet out with the Zhonya's, you just created so much space, stole the Baron, got the soul. What can't this guy just give me?
At this stage, you can't give therapy to Nox because he's 1-7. This is a game that you just would not expect to come up from him. 1-7, Baron stolen away from them, everything committed, even the ult with 15 billion plants there to assist. It just wasn't quick enough, and now Predator is acting like a split pushing Camille. He is weaving in those auto attacks. He's buying time, hoping for space. But that's one less Baron buff on the cards.
No Sonya's on its leave here. This fight does extend. He is susceptible.
Oh, Chirp, what an ultimate. Stuck in a corridor, as narrow as you like it, locks them down as easy as you can. And the Barons were there for a second and just removed in a heartbeat.
And a voice, thankfully, out of combat, 15% movement speed on this item. He's going to zoom out of there. It's broken, Skimmy. But, we do go back into the replay. We see Predator soloing off that dragon. They recognize it's a free objective. They want to play for the contest. They do have the TP on Predator, but what a steal coming out of Forever. No burst, just straight hands, sealing that one with the smite button. And it's just over from this point when there's so many collapses coming from multiple angles.
1500 on the dot, done and deleted, taken in their possession. And look, if there's ever a time to talk about tilt, maybe it is on this occasion. Here we go again for yet another fight.
Another double.
And another double. And really at this stage, it is a case of both himself and Predator breaking even. 7-7-7.
Sharing their scores in the mid lane, but with Fury picking up so many kills, so they are closing the score lead, and there isn't such a one-sided affair when it comes to the scaling. I think that Forever is the one member that is, clearing out ahead, but when you look at the rest of the members from both sides, they are quite similar when it comes to the DPS they're going to be outputting based on the items in their inventories. I think that this could really be anyone's game. It just really depends on who sets up well and who continues to play these fights better.
And from the very get-go, you're thinking, this is looking Fury favor. Chirp gets a few, and you're thinking, well, there's no way to answer back. We've seen this matchup time and time again throughout this entire split. Then they completely throw it against the grain and change up their tune once more. Now you're really wondering, is this going to be a game that goes on long and long and long, where respawn time is the only way to stop this down? Because all we do is fight. There is no chance to set up these fantastic wave states. We just want to showcase how strong we are at any given stage. Voice with the Warmogs. He's gone down for 40, but not before Forever showcases that I am the king of the castle, and you're never going to get to me.
I don't know about that one, Skibby. That looked quite into coming out of Nox, running a straight line at the Fed Talia and just blow yourself up. You know, you have to respect the amount of damage coming out of these pebbles that Forever is throwing at you. It doesn't have that death cap yet, so it's not like a bomber moment, but the damage he is outputting is unmatched.
So he is unmatched, and yeah, you're just wondering at what point do they look to try and put a bow on things. They'll take that first inhibitor, the one they'd set up initially with the Baron, but now they will finally take it on down. 14 kills, yet again, still holding half of their overall damage done. And yeah, I mean, what way do they have to try and get onto this Talia?
Well, he is sitting for a flank here. They do see Nox. Is he going to jump over the wall when he doesn't recognize where the rest of the members are?
Well, if it's not him, it's going to be Predator. Of course, it's Marky, whereas he's always keen for a biff. Chirp jumps in there, assisted by the Strangleforce, and it's going to be successful. They're going to find it. They've taken down Talia. The Zonia's was good. It was used, but it wasn't to be enough. And finally, it's a massive injection of gold and a chance to maybe say, oh, we're actually a lot closer than you think now because you've lost your star player. Prey decides not to go against the wall. And I honestly, you know, good luck, Talia, you know, trying to break down this game.
I'm so nervous every time I see Mark Lewis sit in fog a wall and stop moving. I know he is cooking up something devious, and maybe that was not the play. Death cap is completed for Forever. He is so strong. He needs his team to help him, though. There is so much dive threat onto him. You know, if he doesn't have that flash, the Fate Seal does find if he is forced to blow his Zonias out of position, he can absolutely fall down. Thankfully, with this Elder coming up in a minute, flashes for both the jungle and mid of the Mammoth side are coming up. There is no, you know, major threat onto these members anymore when they're able to outplay with these summoners.
This might be one of those rare moments where we get treated to a Elder. I feel like if we were to say how many we'd seen without even checking the stats, I could probably count it on one hand. The games have been so quick, or the Dragons have just seen, you know, simply ignored. And this might be the deal breaker, the one that ends it all, with the late game respawn time as being the final touch. And it's going to be perfectly timed, given that we did have that Dragon for Baron Steel.
Yeah, we might see Mammoth late to the setup, though, because we recognize that Predator is walking to the top side, matching Chirp. Chirp did not complete that reset, though, so he's staying around. Maybe he wants to cheese Predator here. Just saw him use the rocket jump. The one is going to come up cooldown thanks to the Navori Blaze.
Oh no, he jumped into his own death. Say it ain't so. Chirp has no ability to try and dash across the wall because he doesn't have a flash. And that really is as lucky as you get.
The classic Tristana. W resets on Bomb Explosion and reset. And when you auto-attack with Navori, infinite mobility. Both going to reset. Both going to want to TP to this fight to make sure they're there on time and be ready. Look at the inventories of both these members. They are so fed. They have so much damage. Who is going to find this initial engage, Jimmy?
Quick flash check. Both the AD carries have that one up and available. That could be the difference right now. Both supports ready to rock and roll. Nox is already gone. Nox is dead. There's no chance. There's no opportunity. He's been smited. He's been taken on down. Look at that. What? Triple impale. Voice, stop that. That is disgusting. As Prey tries to salvage something, jumps off the wall, looks at Predator and takes him down with assistance of Findo's ultimate. But Reneko finally unleashed on the map with assistance. Makes it ever so effortless. Voice is going to do a few doughies, but Forever's just going to pebble them down for a quadra.
Triple impale, flash burrow. What can't this guy do? Why do you make him play Leona, Mammoth? Come on, like, he looks so much better on these supports where he just has a lot more playmaking tools when he has that, you know, members diving onto his major carriers. And Forever has an absolute monster performance on this Talia, you know, constantly invading, finding leads, finding knocks out in the jungle. And this was just, you know, far in between a jungle gap.
Biggest jungle gap we've probably seen all split, to be quite frank. Not a way to open up your account in the dying moments of the season to say, where were you all season long? 2 wins and 10 losses before tonight. But Mammoth, they'll find another one here.
what an absolute showing out of this roster, you know. We always talk about what are they going to do? What do they want to have a bit of fun? Do they want to still show that they are contenders? And they have drafted a very meta comp and shown that they, you know, maybe if they had a couple more weeks, they would have been contenders going into playoffs, Skinny.
That's exactly right. I mean, they've cooked in the past. We've had the Morgana jungle. We've had the Seraphine bot lane. We've seen a little bit of Smolder thrown into the mix as well. But this might be their best cook of all.